once I heard him say the word boner, I'm like, I know I'm gonna follow him somehow. So I'll start with the Sistina. I'm gonna try and do intros for my poems because I'm really bad at, like, when I get on stage I'm like, ooh, I don't have a good poem. So this is
just like that.
Yeah. So, and I wrote it in an interesting way. So I went to a poetry reading in Lawrence, and a grad student talked about how Kansas bleeds, and she talked of sunflowers. I'm in love with a girl who loves the color of the inside of a person's stomach. I've lost several people in my life. I love the Fuck Buttons tribal song called Ribs Out. I love walking, running, and taking photos in Manhattan's own Sunset Cemetery. I've always been influenced by Edward Munch and love his pervasive paintings of things he called blood flowers, which is also where the Cure got their Cure fan got their. Back to the intro. I love the way a Sistina can be charted as a spiral twirling in on itself, which it can if you look on Wikipedia. Which I may or may not have done. And this is my first Sistina I've ever written something. It's called Blood Flower. Between me and the sky is a lone blood flower. Tonight I've opened myself up as a burst of colored viscera, split into fleshed halves, cracked with ribs out. I have witnessed people leave our Kansas, but I will wait here after each and every loss. Let comets arc and fall across my eyes in Sunset Cemetery. Each and every marker we've had could be our cemetery, till the dirt of these graves and protruding blood flowers, which every morning rise and drip darkening loss, drop petals of engorged raw viscera, till the true end descends, the end of this Kansas, when the soil washes away and our skulls again peer out. Let every man and woman pour themselves out, for we shake hands always with one another in cemeteries. Our progeny will never know of this Kansas. Reach in that cavity and rip at, expose my blood flower, peel back ears with tongues and lick my viscera. For the stalk of every lover looms higher up with loss. Isn't this act of speaking itself a kind of loss? Why do nothing but turn inside out in hopes you rub fingers on these folds of viscera till you reach the tombstone bones of my own cemetery and realize you are trapped in this poem's blood flower, and realize you are a poet too, trapped in this Kansas. I once sat in an audience while a poet talked of Kansas, of bleeding sunflowers. I only pictured as the sons and daughters of loss. She knew nothing of the blood flower. Only Munch alone could paint its flowing out from his subjects, his people, each one an individual cemetery, each screaming open his sky's viscera. Now, I only picture the red and orange and pink of viscera, sitting on this plain, wishing a crashing plane's free fall over this Kansas. I know I hold a mausoleum in my chest cemetery. For once in Beloit, at a wake, at a loss, I didn't know how to let the sad thing out, to let the petals open, my sweet, wilted blood flower. Are you splitting me up, or what? Alright, well I'm reprising poems, because it's easier than really writing new poems. Thank you. And so, at request, I'm reading this one. So, in undergrad I did drugs. Imagine that. Mushroom and salvia, a couple to mention. When I wrote this poem, I wanted it to be a poem about a detective who's looking for a woman who has gone lost in some porn underground. Like Paul Schrader's Hardcore, starring George C. Scott, or the bad movie 8mm, which probably more people have seen, starring Nicolas Cage.
Boom.
But the drugs took it a different way. It all started with the title, which I've been told to lose, but I just can't do it. And it's from a foreign exchange student's way to talk about sexual content in the TV show Scams. The poem's called Use Drugs at Midnight. Yeah, I do drugs. Yeah, I'm the last detective on this case, and I love this world. A grizzled, a worn, a no dame left me, and I'm alone in rubbing the carpet of this place. Fallen from the couch, flashing the badge of the orange suede to the touch of it. Looking at the black alley light of it. With the spots of my garbage fungus at the bottom of this look of it. Of the case on the trail of it. Because the daughter of the rich guy has gone missing, and he wants me drooping into some web of women. But the phrase where the bobcats fight. No, be it bears to bear it out, and drink beers with the hairy horny bees, and talk of the fractured windows of the future I see shattering in my eyes, and talk of experimental pornography, and the lack of it, and the sick of it, and the fuck of it. And I want every person to curl up inside me, like some sleeping bear who ate a meal of rocks. But I'm too thorny to stay away from bats that are dying of the longing for the bats that are living, and hold me I threw up in the toilet at my reflection. And I looked like smiles in the cat's moon of the belly dials on the telephone calling me, but I can't answer, because I don't know where the girl is except in my head and on the screen, and that is wrong. The tip-off gal said, don't do that. But I did, and now the drugs have taken effect. And I want to live inside of others, like a spelunker lost with his or her, I don't care which anymore, lamp fading on the last notion of a battery. And this one's for our very own Jimbo. I've always argued that spiders held something of the sublime in them. Fear and beauty, something indescribable and overwhelming. Like many, I felt this about sex, particularly when growing up. The first girl I ever loved was a girl named Linda Oliver who lived across the street. Everything but the spiders in this poem is true. Spiders. We played doctor in an old doghouse. The mutt had died. It was that storm, you said, where lightning balled up in the sky. We were kids, and the bolt struck the stake he was chained to, and the electricity traveled through bright bones. In the morning, your brother found him dead and wept. In that place, you showed me the current between your legs. This was the first time, and in the corners, as you peeled off clothing, multicolored eyes hung, dazzled by what they saw. Later, we switched locations. Since the neighborhood's dog was missing, our neighbor's dog, the girl who owned him was jealous, and she knew what we were doing. I never told you, but she made me play in her closet's warm smell of clothes and detergent. But her Christian mother caught us and sent me home, very scared. The last time we were under my deck, we put bare knees on white bricks I thought of as tombstones to keep out the mud. When you removed your shorts, we froze. Above us, my dad's boots thundered on hollow wood, and we were so frightened he would find us that you didn't scream when the spiders escaped their sack and began crawling up my arm. Thanks, guys.